Hey everybody, Ben for the Bonehead Podcast, and there was some very cool news for Warhammer the Old World yesterday. I was out and about, so I didn't get a chance to put a video together for it, but I really do think it's worth having a look at. So here on the channel, as you'll see tomorrow, we are getting into Battle March, the 500 to 750 points starter point for the Old World. And this article ties in very, very, very nicely. So this dropped yesterday on the Warhammer community. Bring chaos to the old world with a horde of rampaging marauders. So they have dropped this, which is pretty epic. This is a brand new army set or battalion box for chaos in the old world, but it's just Chaos Marauders. And these are just some of the best models that Games Workshop have dropped in an awfully long time, if ever. So this box has got 10 Chaos Marauder cavalry and blooming 40 infantry, 40 new Chaos Marauders. Now, the old school Chaos Marauders, you'll remember them, they were the ones who looked like Arnie from Conan, right? It was all just, they were just walking pectoral muscles with a top knot and a sword. But this is grim. This is like, these guys actually look like they are from the icy north of Warhammer. And they've done some beautiful scene setting stuff here. So these models are coming out, but they are coming out as part of a book. So not only have they just dropped Cetra's Fury, which has got the great rules for battle marching, which we'll be covering on the channel tomorrow, but you probably know about them, but we're going to be talking about what's good about them and how we're going to be using them on the channel, i.e. which armies we're going to be starting. But the Raising of Westerland is a new Arcane journal that's going to come out next. So Games Workshop are just absolutely keeping up the pressure for the old world, which is amazing to see. So alongside rules for your Marauders, this new softback supplement goes into detail about the warrior tribes of Norska, the 4 primordial spirits and how they worship them, and Friedel, the Chainmaker's invasion of the Westerland. New rules for the 4 cults of chaos, chaotic traits, a lore of the Shadowlands, plus new artifacts for the Shadowlands gives you everything you need to represent a ferocious army of tribesmen in thrall to the Chaos Gods. So the roster comes with all that stuff, which is great. More army lists for the old world is never a bad thing. But this is something, this bit here ties in so nicely with kind of how I'm getting back into Warhammer the Old World. Finally, a Path to Glory campaign lets you take a 500-point army on the warpath, growing them in size and strength as you play, accompanied by 3 new scenarios themed around the Marauders. You'll need Arcane Journal, the War of Cetra's Fury, which covers all the Battle March stuff, and 3 Battle March for the campaigns, and 3 Battle March size scenarios, and Ravening Hordes for the main Warriors of Chaos army rules. So we've got not only now rules for small format the old world, there is now a campaign. So a Path to Glory campaign is something the Games Workshop would use time and time and time again, and I'm pretty sure it started in Warhammer 6th edition when the Warriors of Chaos came out. Now this is going to be themed around chaos, but if you've got a few friends who are doing it, if you want to run orcs or dark elves, I have no doubt it will be fine to use. And even if they're chaos specific stuff, just imagine that it's an artifact they found, a magic ring in a hole, for example. So I don't think any of that's going to be a big issue. So it is, I think, pretty big news on a couple of accounts. One, how lovely these models are. So this brand new plastic kit brings these warrior tribes to life in the form of muscular barbarians clad in fabrics, pelts and chainmail. Every miniature has a choice of 2 heads, and their shields and hand weapons are interchangeable, so you'll be able to build varied units. While the Taint of Chaos doesn't affect their outward appearance, some recognisable helmets and a range of trinkets and embellishments show how they worship the ruinous powers in their own way. So this is not just a standard Marauder kit. This looks like Dunlendings from Lord of the Rings. These look like Wildmen. These look like, yeah, I mean, they're not really Viking-esque, but if you said, hey, ChatGPT, draw me a Chaos Viking, this is exactly what you'd get. And it's a big old box with a ton of troops in there. So, more to that, though a Marauder's lot in life is largely a miserable one, the ruinous powers don't go so far as to demand their servants footslog everywhere. And the warrior tribes are well practiced in raising powerful, if ill-tempered steeds that ride into battle. Marauder horsemen are often the first wave of offense when the tribes find their foe, crashing headlong into the enemy ranks with heavy spears and flails. This set of 10 Marauder horsemen in this box can be built as 2 units of 5, Yeah, well, 1 unit of 7 and 3 spares, each with their own command group, champion, musician and standard bearer. Just like the regular Marauders they sneer at from atop their powerful steeds, each horseman is a choice of 2 heads. This box also contains 2 new Warriors of Chaos transfer sheets, each one containing 246 decals. Alright, so why this is such big news is not just the fact that now we've got a small scale fantasy that we can then take on a campaign, which I think is really cool and something I'll be very excited to do on the channel. So tune in tomorrow and the next day to start choosing the armies we're going to be building and playing with. But they've got gorgeous new kits. Now let's have a look at the pictures, because the reason I think this is so key is they've already released Chaos Marauders, right? The Chaos Marauders, as part of the Warriors of Chaos, they came out, they re-released the old school ones, and now they've dropped kits that are inarguably better in quality of sculpting. Like, the vibe is very different, and I do not judge you if you're kind of like, I love the Conan look for my Chaos Warriors. Totally on board with that, totally get that. But what this means is that the Games Workshop are now okay dropping kits to replace old Warhammer kits that they've already kind of released. So we haven't seen this for a while from Warhammer Fantasy Battle, but obviously this is rife in the world of Age of Sigmar and Space Marines and stuff, is they'll release a unit and then they'll release another unit that makes that unit redundant. The difference is it's been about 20 years, but they brought out all these armies for the old world, and now they're bringing out what can only be described as some of the most modern and fantastic fantasy miniatures that we've seen. Like, this is just amazing to see the old world get the new world treatment. I am absolutely super impressed. So the kits are brilliant. They look equal to, if not better than, any Age of Sigmar models they've been bringing out, which is pretty huge news. And they've got some good spare heads and stuff, which makes it really customizable. There's a lot going on in these models. They're not your kind of simple rank and flank stuff, but I mean, I'll take it. So we've got Path to Glory coming. We've got new models to replace old ranges, and I do wonder what we're going to see in the Arcane Journal in the way of other units, because it seems and feels like each Arcane Journal drops with some new units, some conversion units, and then some other things that are coming down the pipeline. And if you kind of look at the front cover, the front covers tend to give away the stuff that you kind of see. So you've got all the Kurgans, all the Norskans there. You've got some Warhounds, which is exactly what you expect. You've got some Marauder Horsemen, again, exactly what you'd expect. And then in the background, you've got what looks like Dragon, Chaos Trolls. So I think this is going to be an army list. Oh, that's Chaos Ogre Man. That's the Chaos Shaman, right? That's a Dragon Ogre. So there's a lot of stuff going on in it. And I do wonder what we're going to see in the way of units. Now, I like the way that these all progress the story as well. And I think the very beginning of the article kind of covers that. Does it cover that, or does it not cover that? Here we go. Chaos casts a long shadow over the old world, and the northern coasts of the Empire are constantly under threat from the Marauders and Barbarians from the frozen wastes beyond the seas. Many tribes gather there, worshipping aspects of the Chaos Gods as totemic animals, carving out a brutal life in harsh environments. Whether they pledge themselves to the Bloodied Hound, Khorne, Carrion Crow, Slithering Serpent, or Fell Raptor, these tribes are unified in purpose, and the Marauders of the Chaos Steppe foot abroad in a new campaign of terror. So they have but one promise: to burn the Westerland to ashes. All right, so we got new models, we've got new ways to play, and I would be mega surprised if we didn't see a sneaky couple of new units in there. There's all sorts of stuff and all sorts of direction they can go with the old world. But quite frankly, I'm just excited. The Games Workshop have invested in this and produced 2 new model kits. And I think this means that anything goes now, because we've got Cathay with great models. They're going back and they've done these units with great new models. Now, these are the units that kind of feel like they're used to represent the units that came out in the last Arcane Journal for Chaos, where they had, you know, different barbarian units. So it's possible that if you kind of look at some of the other Arcane Journals, we might see what model kits are coming. But I don't care. I wasn't expecting any. So it's pretty awesome to see these new models. Let me know in the comments what you think, and we'll be back soon with more wargaming. Happy gaming.